First Contact Protocols. The Kilarian flagship Luminous Accord slipped into Earth's orbit with the elegance of a dancer. High Commander Sealer stood on the bridge, her crystalline exoskeleton catching the light of Earth's sun and fracturing it into prismatic patterns across the polished deck. She had led first contact missions to 17 worlds, but something about this blue planet made her inner membranes flutter with unease. Scan complete, High Commander, reported Science Officer Meredith, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. Atmosphere composition confirms previous data. They breathe nitrogen-oxygen. Their technology is primitive but functional. Kazila nodded, her translucent antennae swaying gently. And their weapon systems. Limited to planetary defense. Nuclear capabilities, but no faster-than-light weaponry. No gravitational manipulators. No quantum disruptors. Myrith's mouthparts clicked together in what passed for amusement among the Vexor species. They're practically defenseless by Confederation standards. Ambassador Lorena, the third senior officer present, leaned forward on her 4 supporting limbs. Unlike the other 2, she was a Thraxi, a species known for diplomatic finesse. Yet they unified their planet within a remarkably short evolutionary timeframe. She noted, her voice melodious despite coming from a throat that resembled a musical instrument more than biological tissue. We should not underestimate them simply because they lack advanced weaponry. Izilar waved a crystalline appendage dismissively. The Confederation Council has already classified them as Category 3, an emerging species worthy of guidance but not concern. She turned to face the massive viewscreen displaying Earth in all its blue-green beauty. Prepare the diplomatic shuttle. We make planetfall in 6 hours. The reception on Earth exceeded all expectations. The humans had prepared an elaborate welcoming ceremony at their United Nations headquarters in New York. Red carpets, honor guards, and representatives from every nation stood in perfect formation, smiling and applauding as the alien delegation emerged from their shuttle. "They seem happy to see us," muttered Myrith to Xelar as they descended the ramp. "Of course they are," replied Ambassador Lorena. "We represent advanced technology, interstellar travel capabilities, and potential trade opportunities. What's not to be enthusiastic about?" The human diplomatic team stepped forward, led by a stately woman with dark skin and silver-streaked hair. "On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to Earth. I am Dr. Amara Chen, Secretary General of the United Nations." Lorena performed the Thraxi greeting gesture, her upper limbs forming intricate patterns in the air. "I am Ambassador Lorena of the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace and friendship, seeking to establish diplomatic relations with your world." Dr. Chen smiled warmly. "We are honored by your presence and look forward to learning from you. We have prepared accommodations, refreshments suitable for your biology, and a cultural exchange program to help us understand one another better." As they were escorted into the UN building, Sealer whispered to Meredith, "Notice how docile they are. No security scanners, minimal armed guards. They trust too easily." Myrith's eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of agreement. Perhaps that's why they've survived this long. They cooperate rather than compete. The next 3 days were filled with diplomatic meetings, cultural presentations, and scientific exchanges. The humans proved to be gracious hosts, answering questions freely and showing genuine curiosity about their visitors. They offered tours of their cities, universities, and cultural landmarks. On the 4th day, Sealer requested access to Earth's historical archives. To truly understand a species, she explained to Dr. Chen, one must understand their journey. Dr. Chen nodded enthusiastically. "Of course, we've prepared a comprehensive collection of historical documentaries, literature, and academic papers. Everything is available through our digital library." The alien delegation retreated to their assigned quarters that evening to begin reviewing the materials. Ambassador Lorena selected a documentary titled "The Dawn of Civilization" and projected it onto the wall for all to see. The film began innocuously enough. Early humans forming communities, developing agriculture, building the first cities. But as the narrative progressed, Sailor's crystalline body began to stiffen. They fought constantly. She observed as the documentary depicted one ancient war after another. Egyptians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, Mongols, endless conquest. Myrith's eyes had stopped their usual blinking sequence. Perhaps this is just their early history. Many species have violent beginnings. But as they continued through the historical timeline, the pattern didn't improve. The Crusades, the 100 Years' War, colonization, world wars. Humanity's history was written in blood and conquest. Switch to another topic, ordered Sealer. Perhaps their scientific development was less aggressive. Lorena selected a documentary on scientific innovation. It began with early tools, which were quickly adapted into weapons. It continued through the Industrial Revolution, which produced more efficient means of warfare. Then came nuclear physics, which led directly to atomic bombs. By the 7 moons, whispered Lorena, her melodious voice cracking. They developed nuclear weapons before they had reliable space travel. Tila rose abruptly, her crystalline form catching the light menacingly. They created the means to destroy themselves before they could escape their own planet. There's more, said Myrith, who had been reviewing written materials separately. Look at their entertainment. Their games simulate warfare. Their children play at killing. Their most popular stories revolve around conflict and violence. Ambassador Lorena's upper limbs trembled slightly. Perhaps we're misinterpreting. Cultural context is important. Then let's seek clarification, decided Sealer. The next morning, during a scheduled meeting with Dr. Chen and her team, Sealer raised the subject directly. We've reviewed your historical records, she began, her translator converting her crystalline resonances into English. We find your species' propensity for violence concerning. Dr. Chen's smile faltered slightly. History is complex, High Commander. Yes, conflict has been part of our development, but so has cooperation, empathy, and progress. Yet even now, you maintain military forces, weapon stockpiles, and training for warfare, pressed Sealer. A man sitting beside Dr. Chen leaned forward. He wore a military uniform adorned with medals. I'm General Marcus Rivera, United Nations Defense Force. With respect, High Commander, the universe is unknown to us. Until your arrival, we had no confirmation of other intelligent life. Maintaining defensive capabilities is simply prudent. Defensive? Sealer's crystalline form shimmered with what the humans couldn't recognize as derisive laughter. Your history suggests otherwise. You don't develop nuclear weapons, biological agents, and orbital strike capabilities for defense alone. The atmosphere in the room chilled perceptibly. Dr. Chen's diplomatic smile had vanished completely. I believe there's been a misunderstanding, she said carefully. Humanity's past contains violence, yes, but we've worked hard to move beyond it. The United Nations itself was created to prevent war and promote peace. After you nearly destroyed yourselves, twice, countered Myrith. General Rivera's face had hardened. With all due respect, we've shared our history openly with you. We've hidden nothing. That transparency deserves some consideration. Or it's a clever strategy, said Sealer, rising to her full height. Show us your peaceful face while concealing your true nature. Ambassador Lorena stepped forward, attempting to diffuse the tension. Perhaps we should pause this discussion and... She was interrupted by a loud alarm blaring through the building. Dr. Chen quickly checked her communication device. There's been an incident at the harbor, she explained tersely. A cargo ship carrying hazardous materials has collided with the pier. We need to evacuate this area immediately. Taylor's crystalline form vibrated with suspicion. Is this convenient timing? A distraction? General Rivera stood abruptly. This is not the time for paranoia, High Commander. That ship carries chemicals that could create a toxic cloud over half the city if they ignite. We need to move. Now. As they were escorted from the building, chaos erupted outside. Emergency vehicles raced past, sirens wailing. In the distance, smoke rose from the harbor area. "Our shuttle," demanded Sealer. "We must return to our ship. The airspace has been temporarily restricted for emergency response," explained Dr. Chen as they were ushered into armored vehicles. "We're taking you to a secure location outside the contamination zone." Sealer exchanged glances with Mirith and Lorena. The unspoken question hung between them. Was this an actual emergency, or the beginning of something else entirely? As their vehicle sped through streets being rapidly evacuated, Mirith observed the humans in action. Emergency responders rushed toward the danger rather than away from it. Civilians helped each other, forming orderly evacuation lines despite the panic. "This is exactly what concerns me," Sealer said quietly to her companions. "Look how organized they are in crisis, how quickly they shift to emergency protocols. These are not the actions of a passive species." Ambassador Lorena's musical voice was subdued, "or they are simply well prepared for disasters." "There's a fine line between preparation and militarization," replied Sealer, "and I believe these humans have crossed it long ago." As they watched a team of firefighters charging toward the growing toxic cloud with nothing but protective suits and determination, Sealer made a decision. This mission had just become much more complicated than a simple first contact protocol. Battle of perception. The secure facility turned out to be a military bunker 20 miles outside New York City, buried deep within a forested hillside. As the diplomatic team and alien delegation stepped through reinforced doors, Sealer noted every detail: the thickness of the walls, the positioning of security cameras, the silent efficiency of the armed guards. "This isn't a civilian shelter," she observed quietly to Mirith. "No," agreed the science officer. "This is a military installation. Command and control, if I'm interpreting their technology correctly." Dr. Chen led them to a conference room where multiple screens displayed the unfolding crisis at the harbor. The situation had deteriorated. The damaged ship had shifted position, threatening to spill its toxic cargo directly into the water. "I apologize for the circumstances," Dr. Chen said, her composure remarkable despite the emergency. "This facility allows us to monitor the situation while keeping you safe." General Rivera entered the room, now wearing a tactical communication device. "The evacuation is proceeding on schedule. First responders are containing the leak, but we need a specialized team to secure the ship before it breaks apart completely." Sealer watched as humans coordinated their response with military precision. Different agencies communicated seamlessly, resources were allocated efficiently, and decision-making flowed through clear chains of command. "Your response seems well rehearsed," noted Sealer, unable to keep suspicion from her voice. General Rivera glanced at her. "We prepare for emergencies, High Commander. It's not our first chemical spill, though the proximity to a population center makes this particularly challenging." On one of the screens, a helicopter approached the listing cargo ship. From it descended a team wearing specialized equipment, moving with coordinated precision toward the vessel's damaged hull. "Who are they?" asked Ambassador Lorena. "Hazmat Special Operations," explained Dr. Chen. "They're trained to handle the most dangerous chemical, biological, and radiological threats." Mirith's multiple eyes blinked rapidly. "They're voluntarily entering a lethal environment." "To save others," added Dr. Chen. "Yes." The alien delegation watched in silence as the human team navigated the precariously tilted deck, securing pressure points and reinforcing failing containment systems. Twice the ship shifted dangerously, and twice the team adjusted their strategy without hesitation. "They're improvising," whispered Mirith, a note of surprise in his voice. "The ship's movement created new problems, and they're solving them in real time." Ambassador Lorena's upper limbs moved in a pattern indicating deep thought. "Their adaptability is impressive. Their comfort with danger is concerning," countered Sealer. After 3 tense hours, the immediate crisis was resolved. The toxic chemicals had been contained, the ship temporarily stabilized, and the evacuation order partially lifted for outer zones. As the tension in the room dissipated, General Rivera received another communication that made him straighten. He exchanged a significant look with Dr. Chen before addressing the alien delegation. "High Commander, we've detected unusual activity near your orbiting vessel. 3 unidentified craft have taken up position approximately 10,000 kilometers from the luminous accord." Sealer's crystalline form stiffened. "Explain immediately." "They're not ours," stated Rivera firmly. "We're tracking them from our orbital platforms, but they're maintaining position just beyond our defensive perimeter." "Show me," demanded Sealer. One of the screens switched to an orbital view. 3 sleek, predatory vessels hung in space, their design entirely unfamiliar to the humans, but instantly recognizable to the alien delegation. "Vrixen hunters," hissed Myrith, his eyes blinking in rapid alarm. Ambassador Lorena turned to Dr. Chen. "You have enemies you didn't mention." "Those aren't human ships," insisted Dr. Chen. "We've never seen that configuration before." Sealer's crystalline appendages clicked together in agitation. "They're not your enemies. They're ours. The Vrixens opposed the Confederation's expansion. They must have followed us here." General Rivera's expression hardened. "Are they dangerous?" "Extremely," confirmed Sealer. "And now, they'd found Earth." The room fell silent as the implications settled. The Vrixens were known throughout the galaxy as merciless conquerors who subjugated primitive worlds for resources and slave labor. Earth, with its rich biosphere and abundant population, would be a prime target. "We need to return to our ship," declared Sealer. "That would expose you to attack," countered Rivera. "Your shuttle would be vulnerable during ascent." "We have defensive capabilities," insisted Sealer. "So do we," replied Rivera. Before Sealer could respond, one of the Vrixen ships fired on the luminous accord. The Confederation vessel's shields absorbed the attack, but the aggression was clear. "They're testing your defenses," observed Rivera, his military training evident in his calm assessment. Dr. Chen turned to Sealer. "High Commander, we won't allow visitors to our world to be attacked in our orbit. What assistance can we provide?" Sealer hesitated, caught between suspicion of humans and the immediate threat of the Vrixens. "Your weapons are too primitive to affect Vrixen shields." "Perhaps," acknowledged Rivera, "but we have other options." He issued rapid commands, and the screen showed new activity. From concealed silos across Earth, sleek missiles launched into the atmosphere. From underwater positions, submarines released another wave of projectiles. From orbital platforms previously invisible to the Confederation's scans, energy weapons powered up. "You concealed these capabilities," accused Sealer. "We protected ourselves," corrected Dr. Chen. "As you've noted, our history taught us caution." The human weapons approached the Vrixen vessels. As expected, most detonated harmlessly against advanced shields, but a few, specifically those from the orbital platforms, created disturbances in the Vrixen defensive fields. "Impossible," whispered Myrith. "They shouldn't have that technology." "We reverse-engineered it," explained Rivera quietly. "From a crashed scout ship 60 years ago, in a place called Roswell. We kept it quiet until we understood what we were dealing with. The disruption was enough." The luminous accord capitalized on the moment, firing precisely at the weakened points in the Vrixen shields. One enemy vessel shuddered and fell back. The other two, reassessing the unexpected coordination between humans and the Confederation, turned and accelerated away from Earth. In the sudden quiet that followed, Sealer regarded the humans with new understanding. "You deceived us." "We protected ourselves," repeated Dr. Chen, "just as you concealed your assessment of us as primitive and harmless." Ambassador Lorena stepped forward. "It seems we have all been practicing diplomacy with hidden cards, as humans might say." General Rivera nodded. "The Vrixen threat changes our situation. They'll be back, won't they?" "With reinforcements," confirmed Sealer. "They never abandon a target, especially now that they know Earth has unexpected defenses. Dr. Chen straightened her shoulders. Then perhaps it's time for honest negotiations. Earth needs advanced technology and galactic protection. The Confederation needs allies who understand warfare and survival against the odds. You propose an alliance. Sealer's crystalline form shimmered with surprise. After our mutual deceptions. Because of them, corrected Dr. Chen. We've seen each other's true faces now. You watched our documentaries and learned we're fighters. We've seen your technology and learned you're explorers. Together, we might be something neither of us could be alone. Myrith's eyes blinked in their complex pattern. The humans did charge directly at a toxic chemical disaster, much as their ancestors charged at mammoths. Their instinct to confront danger remains unchanged. Ambassador Lorena's musical voice held a note of admiration. And they protected us against the Vrixens despite our suspicions of them. That suggests honor alongside their warrior tendencies. Thilar considered for a long moment, her crystalline form reflecting the light in fractured patterns across the bunker walls. Finally, she extended a glittering appendage toward Dr. Chen. The Confederation classified Earth as Category 3, an emerging species worthy of guidance but not concern. Her translator conveyed what might have been respect in her alien tone. I will recommend immediate reclassification to Category 1, a potential ally of significant strategic value. Dr. Chen accepted the gesture, grasping the crystalline appendage carefully. And humanity will approach this alliance with open eyes and honest intentions. General Rivera added quietly, though we'll keep our missiles ready, just in case. To everyone's surprise, Sailor's crystalline form vibrated in what the translator identified as laughter. I would expect nothing less from the species that hunted mammoths with sticks and survived its own nuclear age. Ambassador Lorena performed a formal Thraxi gesture of alliance. The Vrixens believe they have discovered a soft target with unexpected defenses. What they have actually done is forge an alliance between the most diplomatically advanced civilization in the galaxy and the most tenaciously warlike species we have ever encountered. Dr. Chen smiled. They have no idea what's coming. As the human and alien leaders began discussing concrete terms of their new partnership, Myrith whispered to Xelar, "Do you think we've made a mistake? Humanity's aggressive tendencies could become a problem for the Confederation in the future." Xelar watched as General Rivera efficiently coordinated Earth's defenses, while Dr. Chen simultaneously managed diplomatic protocols with natural ease. "Undoubtedly," she replied. But the alternative was leaving them to develop on their own until they reached the stars. Still warlike, but without our guidance or constraints. Better to have these predators as allies than to meet them later as competitors. On the screens above them, Earth's defensive satellites repositioned to create a more effective umbrella around the luminous accord. It was a small gesture of protection, primitive by Confederation standards, but its meaning was clear. The humans weren't just willing to fight their own battles. They would fight for their allies too. And in a galaxy increasingly threatened by Vrixen expansion, that quality might prove more valuable than all the advanced technology the Confederation possessed. The first alliance between Earth and the stars was born not of mutual trust, but of mutual respect for each other's capacity for both deception and protection, a paradox that both species understood perfectly well.